Hi, my name is Sami and I work with the First 2000 Days Network. As part of a broader consultation process, I'm going to provide you with an overview of the draft Citywide Strategy for Children. The idea of a Citywide Strategy for Children came out of the First 2000 Days Network's participation in a social impact lab in 2018. At that time, the network was exploring the next phase of its development and decided to pursue a go big or go home strategy. In other words, we wanted to dream up what it would look like if there was a citywide investment in children. What I'm going to be talking about today is where we're at so far. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is because we want to hear from parents, caregivers, professionals, and community members like yourselves who care about giving all of Calgary's kids and families their very best start. First and foremost, the purpose of the Citywide Strategy for Children is to provide a vision for what would be required to support population-level improvements in children and family outcomes. We also want to identify the gaps and opportunities for Calgarians working together to improve outcomes for children and families. So it's all about leveraging all of the great work that's already happening in the city. From an internal perspective, it's also a platform to renew engagement with the First 2000 Days Network through consultation and feedback on the strategy, and a case for renewed financial investment in the network. That being said, this process will also give the network a clear picture of the role that it should or shouldn't play in the sector and how we could be most helpful. In the document, we have made a bunch of assumptions that we want to be clear about. I'm going to go over those now. First, any organization, agency, or individual might contribute to the implementation of the strategy. We're trying to identify these organizations, agencies, and individuals through this consultation process. So please step forward if you see a way that you can contribute. Second, the strategy won't be implemented as a whole all at once. It will follow capacity and momentum. Unlike other strategies in other cities, this wasn't commissioned. We saw a gap in the system and are filling it with the strategy. That being said, the pieces of the strategy will only be implemented as individuals, organizations, and agencies take it on. And so the parts that will be implemented will be based on that energy. Related to this, without buy-in and investment, the strategy can't and won't be implemented. Fourth, we're assuming that there will be a backbone mechanism to guide implementation of the strategy. However, we want to be clear that any group might play this role, including the First 2000 Days Network. Fifth, we believe that a network collective impact approach based on relationships can have maximum impact, especially when we're trying to influence a complex ecosystem like the one impacting children and families. And you'll see that reflected in the document. Sixth, we're assuming that there is a need for a citywide strategy to improve outcomes for children and families. And this is an assumption we're asking about explicitly in our consultation, so please think critically about it. Next, a robust consultation process will inform the final version of the document, so thanks for your participation in advance. And finally, measurement and evaluation will be resourced at implementation. Overall, our hope for this strategy is simple. We want a citywide strategy that ensures children are valued, healthy, and thriving. With a citywide strategy, Calgary's children will be able to say, I have a healthy body, mind, and spirit. My family and community make me feel safe and stable, and I'm ready to succeed in school and other life settings. And because children live in families, are supported by professionals who live, work, and play in Calgary, we have a vision for them too. First, we want families to feel resilient and supported in raising their child, in understanding the importance of the early years, and to know how to access services and support. We want professionals that know how to support families' strengths and needs, that coordinate with others to serve families holistically, and use data to support quality improvement. And finally, we want Calgary to be a city that commits to and prioritizes children and families, invests in prevention, and has safe, inclusive, and inspiring environments for children to learn. When you look at the document, you'll see that it's organized according to 3 imperatives. Each imperative are things that we need to work towards the vision that I just talked about. Under each of these imperatives, we talk about the outcomes we're working towards and the current barriers in the system. Each of these imperatives also have a number of sub-strategies under them. These strategies are how we'll work towards each imperative. Each strategy articulates the existing foundations we want to build off of what's already happening, and also talk about what we might do in the short, medium, and long term to work towards that strategy. The consultation process will help us fill in the gaps in the current draft. I'm going to review the imperatives and their strategies to give you a sense of what's in the document. The first imperative is that systems that impact children's outcomes are well coordinated. To work towards that, we want to create opportunities for community and organizations to share, link, align, and leverage their work. We want to actively represent the needs of children aged 0 to 8 in other citywide strategies. We need to align the early childhood and K-3 systems. And we need to invest in a central coordinating entity to lead the citywide strategy for all children. The second imperative is that children and their families have access to high-quality services and supports. First, we'll do this by making sure professionals know how to support parents' resilience, build social connections in their communities, provide families with concrete support in times of need, empower families with knowledge of early childhood development, and actively build children's social and emotional health. These protective and promotive factors, researched by the Center for the Study for Social Policy, have been researched and show that when they're present, they have positive outcomes for children and families. We also need to make sure that professionals can use data to support continuous improvement in their practice whenever possible. This data should be collected according to shared quality standards. And finally, we need to support higher standards for training requirements and compensation for the people who serve children. The final imperative is that the citywide strategy for all children is supported by policies and data, well-resourced, and a priority for everyone. The three strategies for this are to increase public awareness of the importance of investing in children aged 0 to 8, to advocate for an integrated approach to early childhood development at the ministerial level, and to work with funders to align funding requirements and support transparency. We want your critical feedback on all of these points through this consultation process, which is happening over the course of September to December 2019. And there are a number of ways that you could contribute. The first 2,000 days holds weekly meetings on Thursday mornings from 9:30 to 10:30 at Calgary Reads at the Kanoff Center. In September, these meetings are focused on our internal preparations for this consultation process. In October, these meetings will be open to anyone who wants to learn more about the citywide strategy and participate in some high-level conversations. If you know anyone who you think should contribute in this way, please let them know. In November, the network will be doing some targeted consultation to ensure that we are reaching out to all of our major stakeholder groups. And December will be an opportunity to reflect on this entire process. We'll also be having in-person conversations with targeted stakeholders. We're looking for stakeholders who are critical and able to activate the strategy and act as champions for this sector. If you fit into that category or know someone who does, please reach out to us at the First 2000 Days Network. There's also an opportunity to provide some detailed feedback through an online survey. You can choose the strategies that you're the most passionate about and give us your insight into them. There are also surveys for parents, caregivers, and other community members. Finally, we're hosting a network night on October 22nd, and that will also be an opportunity to have conversations about the citywide strategy. All of that to say, there are lots of opportunities to engage, but we're really depending on you to share these opportunities with people in your personal and professional network and to participate as much as you can. We want this strategy to have as many voices as possible included in it. So thanks so much for your engagement so far and for moving forward with us.